Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Carrie Gatto with Big Picture Realty, a team of Keller Williams Realty. And today I am interviewing another local business owner. I'm here with Beth Quinn, who is co-owner of Q's Nuts in Somerville near Davis Square. Welcome, Beth.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. Um, Beth, if you could briefly just describe your business for our viewers, that would be fantastic.
Sure. So we're a family owned and operated nut roasting company. We produce over 18 flavors of roasted flavored nuts in different varieties. Everything we do is vegan, gluten, soy free too as well.
Wow, that sounds delicious. And it is, I know from experience. Very,
Thank
very
you.
good. You're welcome. And Beth, you own this business with your husband, Brian, right?
I do. Yeah, we started it probably about 20 years ago, and we started out as event roasters. And in 2012, we opened our first storefront in Somerville, outside of Davis.
Awesome. Where are you originally from?
So my husband and I grew up in New Jersey. We were high school sweethearts, and he moved up here to Boston with me when I decided to go to college. So many years ago. And then I've always had a New England connection. My family, my mother's side is from New England. And so we had a cottage on Plum Island, and I would spend summers here every year as a child. And so I decided to go to school in Boston, and then we just ended up settling here afterwards.
Good for you. Plum Island is beautiful.
It is, yeah.
Such a nice place. Where did you go to school, by the way?
I went to the School of the Museum of Fine Arts, so I went to art school, and I loved it there and loved Boston, so we decided to stay here.
Nice. That's so great. And what made you decide to open Q's Nuts?
So, as I said, we started the business originally. We were both working our own jobs and raising two kids, and we decided that we wanted another stream of income. And so we started this little side hustle, if you will, roasting nuts at events and things like that. We always loved food and experimenting with flavors. But we also wanted to work alongside of our children to kind of teach them, to give them a work ethic, and to teach them how hard it is to earn a living and to earn money that they freely get to spend. Um, we thought that was important. So we started as a family doing these events when we could, and it just kind of morphed into this full-time business over the years. And we started packaging and wholesaling, and then we decided we wanted a retail presence, so we opened our store.
That is amazing. I love that it came from those values of, family values, hard work, and
Yeah, I
spending
think it's
time.
important. I think that comes from, kids learn and emulate what their parents are doing. And our son still works for us. So he will someday take over the reins, which is nice.
Very cool. Um, we've already spoken to this a little bit, but anything else you want to say about what motivates you?
Well, I think, I mean, we love food. My husband and I, my husband's an incredible cook. And so I know that food brings joy to people, it connects people. And I think that having a food business, there's a whole network of people that also own small food industries. And so I think it's nice to have that connection with local folks kind of doing the same thing as you do. But it's also nice to get the feedback from your customer in terms of how much their family enjoys what we do too. So that's a big motivation for us to create something
Yeah,
that people connect over and enjoy.
absolutely. My husband's actually a private chef, and he always talks about how it's such an inclusive community. The
It
food
is.
industry, the
Yeah.
local businesses. He loves
Yep.
that. So I know what you mean. Um, what's something most people don't know about your business?
I saw this, you would ask me this question, and to be honest with you, at this point, I'm not sure there's much. Um,
Mhm.
we've done a lot of interviews in terms of our business. People are always curious how we started. Um, I just think that it's the values have kind of stayed the same for us. We've expanded as a business over the years, but I really don't think we want to become this huge industrial commercial food source. It's not anything that interests us. We kind of like the smallness of our business and the personal connections that we have with our accounts and our customers.
One thing I didn't know before today was that you had opened a second location in Boston Market.
Oh yeah, that was quite a few years ago. Yeah, now I mean it's actually it's been a really good experience for us because that houses several local food businesses, and although some have changed over the years from when we're original, we opened with the BPM. Um,
Okay.
Again, those connections becomes this little food community inside, and it really is interesting to work with other businesses. It's not just food. It's could be food related businesses, but it is interesting to kind of learn from the other vendors and realize that everyone's needs and outlook on business are very different.
Hmm, definitely. I love that too. Um, how did you choose your location on Highland Ave in Somerville?
So, as I think I said to you before our interview started, we don't live in Boston. I would love to live in Boston, but we raised our kids in the suburbs, and but we realized we wanted to have our business in the city, and we had been looking at real estate in the area for a while. It's very hard, especially now, to find space that's not enormous or incredibly expensive, so that you can get your foot on the ground in terms of trying to make it. And we just happened across this for rent sign in the window, and we're lucky to find this little place. It's the perfect size and location for us.
That's great. Um, what do you love most about the neighborhood?
So Somerville is wonderful. I mean, not it's very diverse, which is awesome, but it's also very supportive community. I think people really want to buy local. I hear that all the time. And so you kind of get to know your neighbors as friends, really. We have a lot of regular customers, and I do a lot of things, like I do wedding favors, because simply because not only because they like our product, but because they want something from Somerville. They want Somerville
Right.
represented in some way, which is nice.
It is really good. Um, why do you think it's important for people to shop local?
Oh, well, well, I
Mhm.
mean, I understand the convenience of, retail is really struggling, as you know, and I understand the convenience factor of shopping online, but I also think it's important for people to know where their food or their products come from, to see how they're made and who they're made by, and I think that in order to keep a community vital, that you need to support local. I mean, can you imagine if everyone just decided tomorrow, I'm not going to do anything but shop online, all those downtown businesses would be closed.
Exactly.
It wouldn't make your community a very appealing place to live.
That's very, very true. Yeah. And speaking of local businesses, what are some of your favorite places in Somerville? Other places
Oh,
that you like to go?
oh, there's so many, but It's funny, pre-pandemic, we loved, like Somerville Theater and going out more. I loved some of the events that they had in town, like the Independent Film Festival and, the open studios, which I think they revised last year. But little shops like 789 Bakery down the street is awesome. Armory has a wonderful cafe as well. So if people aren't familiar with it, they should go check it out.
Yes, yes, that's so true. And what do you do besides work?
So my husband and I love to travel. We've tried to take one good trip every year. Pandemic has kind of slowed that a little bit. But I also I have a little studio, so when I can, I try to paint I do a sculpture exhibit every year with my daughter, and so yeah, I try to stay creative.
That's great. That's great. And what's the best way to contact you or Brian or Q's Nuts?
So really the best way is through our website, the contact us page, or to stop in at either one of the locations and speak to someone there. Brian and I
Okay.
are often in Somerville.
Okay. And do you make the nuts or roast the nuts, I should say, on location, on site, or?
Oh, yeah, in both
Yeah.
locations. Yes, we do. We are about to move some of the production. Somerville's getting a little small for what we do. So my husband and I are about to close on a commercial kitchen in Methuen. And so
Oh,
we'll take
wow.
some of our production up there, obviously. But I
Yeah.
still want to keep some of the roasting, in each store. I think that's important, again, for people can see how their product is being made, and so that's it's especially the case goods, it's nice and fresh.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I mean, that's a big deal about the commercial kitchen. So,
It is, yeah.
exciting.
I think where it gets complicated is we're doing a ton of wholesale right now across the country, and
Okay.
so where you need the space is when it comes to packaging goods, because the machinery that we have is larger, and so we were kind of forced to find a bigger space to kind of do that end of things.
Okay. Great. Well, gosh, it's so, you have a great story, and it's so nice to learn what goes on behind the scenes. And I definitely encourage all our viewers to stop in at what's the address on Highland Avenue?
349 Highland.
349. Yeah, just outside of Davis Square. Um, yeah, say hi to Beth or Brian and get some of those nuts. I love the idea of doing them for a wedding favor. That'd be great.
Yeah, we do a lot of weddings, a lot of corporate gifts. So yeah, people use them in different ways. Sometimes chefs buy them in bulk and use them in recipes and desserts and so forth. So
Sure, for sure. Now I'm hungry, so we'll sign off and hope to see you next time. And thanks again, Beth, for your time today. Take care.
thank you, Carrie. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Thank you. Bye, guys.